Do you want to be a top real estate agent in your town and never, ever have to make one cold call? Well, this podcast is going to tell you how. Nichole Fecteau out of Maine. She is the mayor of real estate in her town, and she is getting $1 million listings coming her way every day. And she has a specific 3-tier strategy that she's going to teach everyone today. Real estate rock stars, get excited because now I am joined with Nichole Fecteau out of Maine, and she has some rock star strategies to help you get more business and be the local real estate mayor of your town. How are you doing, Nichole?
I'm doing really good. It's very cold up here, though.
Ooh, I bet. I bet.
Yeah.
I'm in Florida, so it's
Ah,
actually kind of cold here. We're like in the 50s. For us, that's cold. I know.
I grew up in Florida, so I get it. My sister-in-law is freezing down there right now.
Yeah.
So,
So
but
tell
yeah,
us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about when you got into real estate and give us a 30-second version of like just yeah, tell us about you.
got it. So I started in 2010, which, as we know, is like one of the worst markets. Only preceded by 2008, which was the worst market. And when I started, I was a single mom. I was living below poverty standards, and I had to make real estate work. I like really committed to it and struggled and struggled and struggled. And 16 years later, I'm a leader agent in my brokerage. But that's basically it, going through all those highs and lows and learning how to make money in a market where nobody wanted to sell or people couldn't sell because they were upside down on their homes. But so through all of that, I have found that while I love to sell houses and I think it's great, what I really love is to teach people how to be better at selling houses, teach people how to basically be like rock star listing agents because we all know that's where the money is in this business. But yeah, so that's kind of my passion and my
Yeah.
journey so far.
Yeah. What does your business look like today? Like roughly how many sales or volume?
Oh my gosh, I hate volume. So, but I
Mhm.
know it. So, I'll say that 2 years ago, I did 16 million. Last year, I spent all year, and I'm a solo agent. I do not have a team. Last year, I spent the entire year wrapping up. I've written an online class. So I have a online class that I teach. And also speaking, I do a lot of national speaking. So it was kind of the first year where I was doing national speaking at conventions, launching my online thing. So sadly, I only did 8.5 million last year, but right now I have 8.5 million on the market.
Got
So
it.
for January, which is decent up here. So we're bouncing back from that, but kind of I'm a little embarrassed by my numbers, to be honest with you.
Oh no, you were doing other things. Your focus was
Yeah.
elsewhere. But
Yep.
talk about, how you became a top agent in your market and what your strategy is.
So I found my strategy quite by accident. And this is kind of what I like to teach people about. When I was absolutely brand new, I had no business selling real estate. I didn't really know anybody. I was just divorced. I was like my kids and I were living off macaroni and cheese, living in this shitty little apartment. And I was like, this has got to work because I'm not working a 9 to 5 job. I'm not working for another person. So I decided to developed this strategy. I also refuse to cold call people. And I know a lot of great agents cold call and they're good at it and I'm just not. I suck at it and I hate it. So I'm like I need to do something where I can get results without cold calling people. So I developed a strategy to do that. And then I was like, I really like to be active in my local community. And I saw how some of the things that I was active in started to translate into real estate business without me ever having to be like, I'm a real estate agent. So my business kind of took off from there. And so I have like a strategy of old school mailings, which I actually love, and a digital strategy, as well as just a community visibility strategy. And so what I'm most passionate about is teaching that, teaching people how to be visible in the mailbox, how to be, because if the internet disappears, I mean, I don't know, last week we were all without Verizon for 2 hours.
Mhm.
People were freaking out. Um, and then, and then be, visible digitally as, in a very purposeful way, and then be visible in the community doing things, or whatever your demographic is, doing the things that you love to do that bring you joy, because, uh, cold calling doesn't bring me joy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with you. Let's start with the mailers because
Okay.
a lot of people are on the fence with mailers. I know some people absolutely kill it. What are
Yeah.
you sending out?
So right now, I think that everybody should be sending out. Let me backtrack a little bit in identifying your target audience, because I think that's the number one thing. You can't be the expert of every single thing, and dialing down. We call it get small to get big. Dialing down to figure out who exactly your ideal audience is key. But then once you've identified them, I figure out, I think the average homeowner right now is in their house about 10 years, which is crazy because it used to be
Mhm.
6 years. It's just going up, up, up. So I go back in time 10 years and I see who bought their house then. I go back 10 to 15, see who bought their house and who hasn't sold their house. The first thing that I do, and then within my demographic, and the first thing I've been doing is sending out market analysis. I go into RPR, which we all have access to, and it does a decent job. But what I love about it, I wish I had an example with me right here. But what I love about it is it gives like this ridiculous range. It'll say like your house is worth between like 500,000 and 1.7 million, and of course that's exaggerated. But there's a range. So what I do is I print out the RPR front and back. I make sure it's no more than 3 pieces of paper, so they have, like, stuff to look at, and I circle the little range, and yeah, this is, like, heavy, it's very, labor intensive, but it's very purposeful, so I think it's worth the intensity. But I circle the range and I just handwrite, "I'm happy to dial this number in for you, no cost or obligation, just reach out," and I send that out to them. That's the first thing that people get from me, and at this point, I mean, I've been sending these out for a while. So every year they kind of get an updated RPR. And I put a little sticky note in there too with a QR code that attaches to my Real Scout account. So if they scan that, then they automatically are put into my CRM, which I love. Kind of takes the middleman out of that. But I get more calls just from that one touch than pretty much anything else I do besides like my community involvement. And then beyond that, I have a series of mailings I do after that. I call it 10 days of pain, where they get that, and then they get for 2 months, they get 10 pieces of mail from me beyond that. And I
Are
do it
they
once a
the
year. Well,
same though, where you're physically doing it or are you using a service?
I do not use a service. I physically do it because I want to be very purposeful with who gets it. So I feel like with a service, I feel like with Every Door Direct, that's a great service, but I don't want to necessarily hit every single door. I'm really targeted in who I hit. And I have students of mine who have used services that aren't getting the same, I guess, the same result just by blanket, postcarding people, but my next pieces are mostly postcards.
Got it. So when you are like, how many people are in your database that you're trying to really farm with this
S
strategy?
I would say, so my town, which is what my focus is 8,500 residents. We have about 3,500, dwelling units in our town.
Okay. And so do you use a system where you go, okay, I know I sent this to them a year ago. Is your
Mhm.
CRM helping you with that, saying, hey, it's time to send it again?
So maybe it's because I live in Maine, but but I'm like, I'm very hands-on, so I have like a printout of lists. I keep I personally keep tabs on, what their house value was, like, so because I'm looking it up on RPR right before I print it out, so I write it in there. It's got their address, it's got, 2002, 2003, 2000, whatever, whatever the dates are, and then I put it in there. And if I see, like, people like the handwritten notes. I think that's why I get such a good, return from it, is because it doesn't feel like a mass mailing. I've received mass mailings from agents that are supposed to feel, you know, high touch, and they're not. They just feel like an agent printed this or their assistant printed it out. Um, Yeah.
Do you when you mail out, let's say, 100, how many
Mhm.
people reach out to you from that? Do you have any sort of idea on the
I
numbers?
do have I wish I had it right in front of me. That's kind of a small number. I'll say that my last like, the last group I did, I mean, I probably mail out, like, a couple hundred a week.
Oh,
So
wow.
oh,
That's
yeah,
a
I do a
lot.
lot. I know, I'm really into it because it works. But when I go in trying to think, this month alone in January, I've probably gotten 4 calls for market analysis, like, for, like, come do a deeper dive for us. And then once I have that, like, it forms the relationship. And again, I'm in a small town of 8,500 people, so the relationship and them just seeing my name and giving them a piece of, something of value works, and they keep them too. I think that's the other thing. It's like they keep that because it's got a picture of their house on it and their value.
I went to a conference last week and someone spoke and talked about how we are in a trust recession where people are trusting less than ever before. And I
Yeah.
think, again, like you were saying, those mass mailers where it looks like someone wrote, people can read
Yeah.
through it versus
Yeah.
seeing something real. I do think people resonate with that more than ever. So if you are
Yeah.
taking the work and doing it and be like, hey, I spent time, I can see how
Yeah.
it's successful for you.
Yeah, and it's not like I think when I really think about how much time, because it seems so high intense because we want, as agents, we want immediate gratification. We would love AI to do it all for us. But I mean, I was in the office yesterday. I like to go in super early. I go in like 6 o'clock in the morning when nobody's there and I do it. And I printed out 60 and I hand wrote on all of them. And it took an hour and a half to do it. So I like handwrite, Post-it note, fold it, stick a business card in there, go. The labels are already pre-printed, so, um
And do you just use the property appraiser, or I don't know what you guys have in Maine, but do you use, like, public data to say, "Okay, here's where I'm gonna get the information?"
so if you go to RPR, you know what? I
Mhm,
actually do have one here, not to, like, detract from this. If you go into RPR, it's like narrpr.com,
mhm.
such a good resource. It's all of the stuff is right there, so here's what I print out. I'm gonna, open one because my broker had pulled one out of the mailbox, and I forgot that I had it in
So
my
you
thing.
guys may wanna hop over to YouTube and watch this if you're
You
listening
better
to it
hop on
right
over to
now.
YouTube.
Yeah,
Look at all this good information. Hopefully it's not reversed when this comes out. But so this is it. This is the house. Here's the little range. You can see here's the range. I say I'm happy to dial this number in for you. Nichole, they all know who I am anyway. I stick this on there, which is like instant home value thing. This looks like somebody printed it out and spent time on it, as opposed to, I mean, I just got one recently from an agent who's like, "I have buyers for your house." I'm like, "No, you don't."
yeah,
And it's got like, I commend him because it had like highlighted words in it, but it was obviously highlighted by, within the Word
sure.
document. But it looks like somebody spent time and cares. And again, like you said, it builds trust in a time when nobody trusts anything.
So you're in a town, you have 3,500 homes, you were saying.
Mhm.
Where do you begin? I know you can go back to people that have owned it 10 years, but do you
Yep.
maybe pick a neighborhood you like, kind of start there, going, I like this neighborhood. I've sold in here, I feel comfortable. And then you expand
Yeah.
from there?
Yes, I do the main roads. We don't have a ton of subdivisions where I am. It's like old school New England. So I pick the main roads because those are where my signs are gonna have the most amount of impact. So that's where I started.
That's awesome. Now
Yeah.
let's switch over to digital. What are you doing over there?
So digital, I do videos. I am known in my community and with everybody around for videos I do. I try to do one a day. I haven't been really good at that, but I usually get like 3 to 4 a week. I do small videos, educational things. It's not a high production thing. I literally will set up my phone in the brightest area in my office and I think about what weird things I've encountered this week. We always, I have a great one, but I have to wait a little while because that lady might watch it. But
Mhm.
like those weird things. Like some lady wants to do a water test at at her first showing on my listing. Like, you're not pulling water samples out, like
Yeah.
those things. Like, so I just do these little things and they're very, they're very real. I'm very much myself. I often get a call from my broker afterward, like, maybe you shouldn't say that stuff online. And I like that though. And people tune in and watch me. So from a digital standpoint, I think that's my biggest thing, because I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything. I'm trying to help them understand what we do better, and maybe things that we encounter. So I put that on. I'll often do it on Facebook Live, which people love because they like to see. I trip up a little bit. I'm not like always on live.
Again, that
At,
trust recession, like messing
yeah,
up is good now because
they
people
love it.
know it's really you. Soon, like
Yes.
AI avatars will like mess up on purpose.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like people
Exactly.
want
Yeah.
to know who they're talking to and looking at is real.
Yeah, and so then I put it onto my YouTube and everything, and honestly, most people that interview me to sell their homes say they've been watching me for over a year, and, like, they already feel like they know me when they meet me because they've seen my videos, and they'll be like, I'll be walking around Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and people will be like, "Oh, I saw your video today." Random people, and it's really just, like, 3 minutes, but I think that really it helps in a variety of ways. So that's the main thing digitally. I've got a lot of other things. I've got like a 3,600 email list where those people get my videos too. That I very purposefully email to them. I don't send them anything that's been canned ever. They get real curated stuff from
Got it.
my brain.
So your community involvement, what are like give us like a few tidbits of things that have been game changers for you? Because again, there's a million ways to do this business. There's a
Yes.
million things to get involved
Yes.
with.
Yeah, I always tell people there's no wrong way to do it. Somebody be like, "Oh, that's not what I do." Super, like
Yeah.
do whatever, there's no wrong way to do this business. I love it. Community, I would say the number one thing that I do in my community is I'm on the planning board. I've been on it for like 100 years, and it's another form of digital for me also because after my planning board meetings, I do a 30-second recap of what's going on in the planning board so that the people of my town can tune in and understand in real life, layman's terms, what's going on. But I would say that's the number one thing. It's a slippery slope. You have to be really careful as a real estate agent on the planning board. I'm the chairman of the board, so even more so, I have to be really careful. But I feel like I contribute a lot. I learn a lot. It's from my heart. I absolutely love it. It's a great way for an agent to give back and to really learn more. I do that, and then I do other things, like I run a pickleball league in my town, and and I just got a $2 million listing from that. So they're like from somebody who was just like, "Oh, you're a real estate agent, right? Yeah, come over and look at our house. We wanna sell it." And it's like a $2 million listing that pays for the rest of my life pickleball.
Yes, yes. No, that's awesome. I love
Yeah.
the planning board. That's one thing I've never heard before. That's
Yeah,
different and again aligns with our industry. It's
yeah,
interesting. That's really, really cool. Have you
thanks.
been doing this for many years?
Planning board, I've been on it, 11 years with a 2-year hiatus. But yeah, so I've been doing it for a long time.
Got it. Well, this has all been like really interesting stuff. I
Thanks.
love whenever I talk to someone and it's something different.
Yeah.
Like where it's like, yeah, like you're printing it off, you're writing something. It's labor intensive, but it's not. Yeah, like
Yeah,
you're jotting a note. It's
there's an
doable.
ROI.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there's an
that
ROI that makes it worth it for sure.
absolutely. Where can people find you?
So find me on the Book of Faces. My name, I'm sure my name will be somewhere on here, but my name is Nichole Fecteau. You can look me up online. Um, I'm on Instagram, probably not as active on Instagram as I should be. LinkedIn for any information. Like I have an online course that I have where I teach all of this and more and give away all my materials and everything. So there's a million ways to find me.
And that's the easy way. Face the book of faces
The
is the
Book
easy.
of Faces, you
I
will
love
find
it.
me.
I love it. So that's the easy way for people to
Yep.
like get in touch with you to ask about your
Yes.
course and everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, that is awesome. I'm sure people will reach out because it's great tidbits. But thank you so much for joining us. I love it, and
Th
hopefully it can help you rock stars rock out your business.
thanks, Christina.